Am I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through? You feel me too? I still wanna run to you. Am I breaking through?
Hello, hello? There we go. Okay, now it's working. Sorry about that. Technical issue. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to another week of Mythic Rewind. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these. Last season was plentiful of these segments, so I think everybody liked them, so we're doing them again. Obviously, last week was kind of rough for everyone, as well, at least for me and many of my co-casters, as we're all in Florida, pretty much. So we did not get to run one of these. Hopefully, you can hear me a little bit better. I think that's good. So yeah, we're back with another Mythic Rewind. This is the Starcaster series. I've got some good information for you guys, a little bit of stats that we've been working on. I made them nice and neat so that it's for your viewing pleasure. And I'm also gonna post them afterwards on one of the channels in the Discord, so you guys can view all the, I guess, messier stats. But yeah, I guess we'll get right into it then. Let's see here. First, we're gonna go over the standings for week 1 and week 2. I guess my camera is kind of blocking that. But the standings for week 1 seem pretty standard. We got Division 1 Friday, Needlessly Large Rods, Mythic Pref No Leash take the cake, 2-0ing both Clarity Clear and Clarity. And then Challengers, which, by the way, they did get a name. Oh, is it still quiet? Man. Testing? Is that better? That should be good, I mean. But, yeah, the Challengers did get a name change. Is it still not that great? What the heck? Let me see if I can raise it a little bit. Testing. Is that better? Like 1, 2, 3. Hello. I hope this is better. On the OBS it sounds good. So, but anyways, the slightly better. I think it's almost in the reds now. So I don't know what's going on there. Let me see if I can put it up to. How about this? Is this louder? Hopefully. This should be louder. Okay, this should be very good as the monitoring of the audio looks. Okay, cool. So anyways, we got in week 1 Needlessly Large Rods, Pref No Leash take the cake in Division 1. Not much of a surprise there. We haven't seen a lot of, Clarity and Clarity Clear, but, it was kind of expected at that point. Challengers, which by the way got a name change to what was it again? I think it was just the Salty Mandrakes. It's such a weird name, but I like it. But anyways, yeah, so that's basically what happened for Friday, and then Division 2, which is Saturday, TPO Argonauts 2-0'd. Then we got TPO We Hate Renekton 2-1. I thought that was pretty interesting, but that was only because I think I believe something happened with one of the rosters or lateness or whatever. So, but yeah, then Agoat gets the bye, and then TPO No Penta got 0-2'd. Pretty standard. I mean, first week not much to go over. I think it was pretty dominant games throughout. But then as we get into week 2 standings, we have needlessly large rods still 2-0s. And this time we got Challengers, which are now the Salty Mandrakes, 2-0. And then Pref No Leash gets the bye. Still, Clarity and Clarity Clear are still 0 for Nilch. So, kind of still looking forward to maybe seeing them, try to get some points in. Now we're in week 3, so we're halfway there. So hopefully they get some points in. And then on Division 2, Argonauts, yet again, the 2-0. We Hate Renekton gets the bye, so they only get 2 points. TPO No Penta, now 2-0s. So we kind of got the opposite of last week, where they got 2-0'd. And then Agoat, still only with a bye, they get 2-0'd. And Knowledge Yield Strengths also still gets 0-2'd. So, kind of change in the second division. There's a lot of change in the second division, not a lot of change in the first division. So this is very interesting. I think the second division is pretty spicy, also because of having 3 TPO teams. I think them going to head against these other teams, there's a lot of banter. I like the banter and the spice that's going on in the banter channel. But now this is gonna bring us to the stats that I have for you guys. Hopefully I can, let me see, present, because everybody's gonna like these. I think we did a fantastic job. Here we go. Alright, so I'm gonna make my camera a little small so that you can see all of it. So this is literally for week 1. We haven't been able to get week 2. I think Volps is getting week 2 stats in right now. But yeah, this is top lane, and this is all the players in top lane. Not sorted in any sort of positioning, but these are just all the players that played in week 1. They're simplified stats. I think going over this in detail is kind of important, because there is some little things that I found interesting between the teams who lost, the teams who won, who's doing the most damage in the game, or in the most damage in the role, or who's doing the most structure damage. As we see in the top lane, I mean, Juggernaut takes the cake. In 2 games, he did 33k structure damage, and I feel like that's insane compared to all the other top lane players in both divisions. So, being above about 15, 16, 17k above the next highest person, which is Aztec. So, yeah, Juggernaut, still a menace. Still, top of his class. Okay, I got an update that stats might be in by the night, so that's good for week 2. But, yeah, this is pretty good stuff. I think that one thing also to notice is that we got a very good KDA on Spark Arc down in TPO Argonauts. I think they won both their games, so this is not much of a surprise, but this shows that he can pretty much get away in the top lane, being safe, not dying as much, and racking up at least a bit of gold, and a little bit of kills, not as much as, say, Juggernaut, who literally did a lot of structure damage, but did die to ganks, just random roams, maybe some 4v1 situations, stuff like that. And then the person who tops in kills is literally top in kill from needlessly large rods. So definitely menaces all across the board. Total champ damage. I mean, yet again, Juggernaut takes the cake again. But this is only about 13k above Aztec, who did the next most total champ damage. Whew, that's a mouthful. And then obviously we have the CS numbers on the right side. I think this is pretty standard across the board. There's not really too much. Juggernaut again has the highest. He's just been crushing it. But I think that, yeah, top his kill is insane. Spark also has a decent KP. Yeah, I think that does it's kind of like judging the play styles of the certain top laners, right? Because we have a lot of tanks and we have a lot of bruisers, and in fact, there was 2 separate games where Aatrox was played. One of the games Aatrox was played 2 times in a row. So Aatrox was definitely like, I think Aatrox is definitely a part of the meta. That's also another reason why he's been picked a lot in the first week at least. So no surprises there. But Juggernaut, we all know he's kind of like a split pusher. Yorick, I think he played Yorick and some other champion this week. So yeah, it's definitely alludes to how they want to play the game, right? The split pusher wants to do a lot of structure damage. Meanwhile, someone like Aztec, who just, protein for days, just wants to be a menace to society, just do a lot of damage, you know the drill. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for top. I think we're going to move on to the jungle now. So yeah, we got a lot of interesting numbers here. Instead of structure damage, we put in average vision. I think vision is a good metric in terms of, junglers always want to buy sweeper, or, if you're playing Lee Sin, you're not, getting sweeper, but you're placing down wards. But not too much, abnormal numbers here. Galliant has a really good KDA, so that means that he's, been very good at not dying, keeping up kills, keeping up the assists. Total kills is gonna go to Snom. I think that's interesting because we were just talking about Aztec, and they're very gung-ho, it seems like, with their champion styles, so that would make for a really good top jungle pairing right there, averaging 11 kills per game. This is only over 2 games, just so you guys are aware, because obviously I don't have the stats for week 2, which is being done right now. And then we go to total champ damage. I mean, the Emperor, I think, from Knowledge Yield Strengths has a say here. I mean, he seconded in total kills, did a lot of damage, playing very damage-oriented champions. So, but fun fact, Sejuani was the most played. I think she had about 2-3 games. I think one of the games she was played twice in a row. And obviously we got a lot of 2-0s, and we didn't get a lot of 2-1s. I think we only got like 1 2-1 in this first week, so kind of expected. We'll see these numbers change drastically as we get more stats in. I think one thing to note here is that Snom, even though he had the highest total champ damage, did not have a lot of good vision score. I think he has, literally the lowest average vision score here, which I guess if you're killing them, it doesn't really matter, right? But I guess that's kind of one thing. And also, like, game times also were very short. And some of them are very long. I think the longest ones were the Pref No Leash games in week 1. So that's kind of why you're seeing a little bit skewed stats from just these 2 games. But I think that setting up for the rest of the season is kind of the expectation here. Where do we go from here, right? Average CS, I mean, it's pretty standard across the board. CC Gray actually has the highest average CS. I don't remember what champions he was playing. I think it was like J4 and, I want to say J4 and some other bruiser. I'd have to go check that later. But, and by the way, the reason you're seeing parentheses 1 for CC Gray over total champ damage and average vision was I didn't get the stats from that. I guess there was some sort of bug going on with that one game in particular, so that's only going off of 1 game, but still pretty standard stuff, even for that 1 game. So yeah, and I guess that's kind of it for that. We're going to go on to mid lane. Uh, whoever deserved, whoever did those, yeah, we'll see when you get the week 2 ones in. But I might just pause the segment a little later on, get the stats from that if I can. Obviously, I can't make it as pretty right now, but moving on to mid lane though for week 1. We have pretty interesting numbers here. I think we subbed in solo kills in place of the other stats that we had. This is kind of to make sure that the mid laners are actually like doing well in their lanes, as well as maybe catching people off if you're playing assassin, or it could be like roaming with your jungler. Maybe they split off and you find up getting yourself into a 1v1 or killing them during lane. So I thought that was an interesting stat. I don't know what the circumstances were, but I think it's cool to know, like, hey, are you actually a passive laner or are you an active laner, right? Assassin versus standardized mage. But moving on to average KDA, it's Cade from Clarity Clear actually takes the cake on this one. So, and I believe they were playing standard mages if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. Pretty standard kill counts all across the board. There were 3 people that had 12 kills amongst the 2 games, so pretty average stuff. Total champ damage, same thing pretty much. But in this case, Galax actually takes the cake. I think he played, I don't remember what champions he played off the top of my head again. But Azir was actually the top champion played. I think even, maybe it was Galax that played Azir, I can't remember correctly. But yeah, Azir was played over several matches. Renekton was another one. There was a lot of champions in this lane that were like repeat. People who kept using those champions, like Renekton, I think was played twice from different people. There was one other, I can't remember right now, but yeah, definitely pretty good CS stats here. I think you want to be averaging these numbers. I can't really say enough for the Night Angels. I know they lost, TPO No Penta lost their games here, so that's why that number is so low. But it's interesting that the Night Angels also got the most solo kills. So maybe his team didn't carry him. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, 200 plus seems pretty good on most of these. So yeah. Where are you? Is this the 2 different groups? Yeah, this... Are you not on here? Because I think this was all the stats that we had. I don't know if you played in any of... This is only for week 1, though. So that might be what you're looking at here. I haven't gotten... Like I said, I haven't gotten the week 2 stats yet. Hopefully I can get them after this segment, or Ago didn't play week 1. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah, we don't have 2 teams on here because they had the bye week. So that might be why. So moving on to ADC, no surprise, Misfortune was the most played here. There was also something like Caitlyn, I think, was a runner-up or had the same amount. And yeah, pretty good stat lines here. There's a lot of low KDAs here, which I thought was interesting, except for mortality, who takes the cake at 5.6 KDA. I think that's a great stat, especially for ADC players, because the more your ADC dies, the less things get out of hand for the enemy, right? Especially playing someone like Misfortune, who really just has to stand over the wall in bullet time, right? So, 5.6, really good. Total kills also 22. Galaxy Fox actually takes the most kills. I know that they 2-0 twice in the league itself. Week 1, dominant performance, so... looking good. Total champ damage actually is going to be no weenies allowed, which Prince Manjuiced himself, he did play Karthus. He actually played Karthus and Misfortune week 1, so that is why he had so much damage on this board right now. I mean, that 85k is an insane amount for 2 games, I think. So, really good stats. Average CS... We like to see numbers like Mortality's 310. That is huge, especially over 2 games. That means that he had 300 CS in both those games. I think those games went long, if I remember correctly, because they were against, I think they were against Prefno Leash, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, that's the numbers you kind of want to see in those long games. 200 is still a good number. That's kind of the average, I think, for quicker games. So, looking good. Nothing else to note here. Did put in total multi kills, which I thought was interesting because ADCs pop off, whatever. It can't be me. I'm not an ADC player, but Galaxy Fox takes the highest total multi kills. They could have been double kills, could have been triple kills. Who cares though? Number of them matters. I think that especially being the last one alive as an ADC, you have a lot of agency in those team fights. So getting the more multi kills you get, I think the better as a stat line. So moving on to support. So this one actually has total shielding and healing. This one is actually a totally different look at how we look at supports because it's got total assists, average assists, total wards placed, and average vision rather than your total kills, average kills, yada yada. Most played champion here was Soraka. I think over quite a few games Soraka was played. There was also sprinkles of like Lulu. There was also a sprinkle of tanks, which I thought was interesting. A lot of the TPO teams had very tanky members like Thresh, Nautilus, and Vortrold. Yeah, so let's get to the total shielding and healing in a little bit, but I want to talk about the total assist, the average assist, how that kind of matters. Obviously for the Enchanter, the total assists and average assist is going to be skewed, right? Because it takes really one button to heal somebody, right? Over, landing a hook or, I don't know, landing an ultimate on somebody or, getting that assist or that shield in is a whole nother ball game, especially when it comes to Soraka. I mean, it takes one button to heal someone. That person gets a kill, you get an assist, easy as that. Soraka can do it cross map too. So, but yeah, high numbers here. I think I like these numbers overall. 42 going over to Magus Knight, doing a really good job. He played 2 enchanters, so yeah, I think that's a really good number. I don't remember which. I think he might have played Soraka. I think it was Soraka and some other enchanter. I saw that we had like a Yumi game. I don't remember from who. But yeah, these numbers looking good. Average KDA actually does matter. And what's funny is I think it was FBN Yang. The reason he has a 6.1 KDA is because the only person who played Yumi this week was him. And that's why that KD is so high, because it's very hard to kill Yumi, obviously. So congrats. I think you did. That's a really good KDA. Whether those were kills or not, if I remember the stats correctly, they weren't more. There were a lot more assists than kills. So like to see it, and obviously not dying a lot as support also matters. Yeah. So this is good stuff. Average assists, pretty standard. Same thing as the total assists. Total wards place. Obviously, like I said, for Clarity Clear, and Prefno Leash, they had a longer game, so the longer the game goes on, the more wards. That's why those stats are almost inflated. We kind of want to take those games as the what's the term called when it's like the outlier? There we go. So that game was kind of the outlier because I don't think games should go on for 40 minutes. Both of those games I think went on for 40 minutes plus, and I don't think that's normally the case. I think your game is roughly around 20 to 30 minutes, right? So, but yeah, total shielding and healing is actually this is where things get a little weird, right? All right, so we got Bread and Guts. I think they played 2 enchanters. DJ Krypton did not play 2 enchanters. I think they played 2 tanks. FBN Yang, like I said, played Yumi and some other enchanter. That's why it's a high number. Evo Vision also played enchanter. Cracodonius played strictly tanks. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Nautilus and some other tank that did not have like any shielding capability. That's why the number is so low. Magus Knight, interestingly enough, played enchanters but didn't do as much healing as the other ones. So I think that's kind of interesting. Not sure what exactly that means. I think that it's just case by case basis. I think they went 2-1 here, right? Because they had a delay of game or something like that. So, but either way, pretty low numbers, I think, on the healing and shielding. I want to say that enchanters are very good right now. So if you're seeing that kind of the world's mentality where all the pros are playing enchanters. Well, that's why. I mean, enchanters are busted right now, so it might be out of your playstyle, obviously, but tanks still have a way. But I just think that the more you can help out your team as a support, the better. Even if it is playing the most annoying champions like Yumi. But either way, average vision. Vision scores looking pretty good per game. Obviously, the outlier here is Branded Guts in that longer game. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All I have for stats. After we go over this week's games, I'm gonna come back to the stats, see if I can get some sort of stats for week 2 at least. At least a very quick one. So moving on, we have round 3, Friday bracket. This is where my predictions are going to come in. Needlessly Large Rods versus the Salty Mandrakes, and Pref No Leash versus Clarity. And then Clarity Clear gets the bye. For the first game, Needlessly Large Rods versus Salty Mandrakes. I don't know. This was just an interesting one. I think week 2... Oh, I didn't even put week 2 stand. Did I? I didn't... Or I did put the standings, but I don't think I put the results. But anyways, I think going into this one, I'm actually gonna take a look real quick. Where are the standings here? Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard. We've only seen Salty Mandrakes once. This is the top 2 teams, so they both obviously did really well. One of them had a bye week. This could be a really good game to watch. I think that having that balance or shift of power between the top 2 teams halfway through the season is a very good indicator of who might be going to playoffs or who might be getting the better seeding during playoffs. So, looking forward to that game. I think that overall, I'm gonna give it to the people we know less about, which is the Salty Mandrakes. I'm hoping they do good. Needlessly Large Rods had 2 good weeks. Let's see if somebody can take some points, and I think that team might be the team to do it. So we'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be a 2-1 for Salty Mandrakes. I don't think that Needlessly Large Rods are going to let this one slide without taking a game off at least, though. So then we move on to Pref No Leash versus Clarity. Honestly, I would like Clarity to put their big boy pants on. Let's get a win in. But they're looking pretty rough right now. The hope is that they at least 1-2. But I don't know if it's gonna happen. I feel like 2-0 for Pref No Leash. They've just got a lot of experience. They have really good games. No Weenies Allowed is definitely a player to look out for. Prince Manju says definitely take the cake for like ADC player so far. So it's really like it's like the bottom versus the top here. I mean, Pref No Leash, yes, they are not exactly where they need to be. Obviously, I think that looking at the standings again, they're in contention for the first place, but I don't know. Needlessly Large Rods, really good stat lines, really good picks. I think drafting was really good by them so far. So I think they might be getting the 2-1 here. I think it's going to be a 2-1 for Pref No Leash. I'm looking forward to Clarity at least taking a game off. And then obviously Clarity Clear gets the bye, so not too much to say about that. Moving on to the spicy bracket of Saturday with 3 TPO teams. We got Goat versus TPO Argonauts, TPO We Hate Renekton versus TPO No Penta, and then Knowledge Yield Strength gets the bye this time. Or not obviously, but honestly, I think Goat, even though we haven't really seen much of them, I think they definitely have potential so far. I mean, even going back to the standings, they only got the bye week, and then they got 0-2'd. They've played with Mythic before. They didn't do too bad in the last season, if I remember correctly, but I think that Argonauts, need to be taken down a peg, just like all the other 2-0s for 2 weeks that have been going on. So I'm hoping for at least a 2-1 in favor of TPO Argonauts. knocking down a little bit if you can. You know what I'm saying? Always for the underdogs, the comeback stories, the mental resets. That's where it's gotta come in. And that would be making a statement. Agoat versus TPO Argonauts. They have 2-0'd both weeks, so could be a very spicy fight to watch. Then we have We Hate Renekton versus TPO No Penta. Honestly, looking at the stats that we just looked at for week 1, seeing how TPO Renekton did get taken a game off, I think honestly, it's a 2-1 situation versus a 0-2 situation. TPO No Penta have been doing extremely well, but they still have good stat lines, I think, overall. But I think I'm going to give the 2-0 over to We Hate Renekton. They've shown themselves that they are strong. They've had a lot of protein powder. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, how does TPO No Penta actually win this without actually, hey, I'm not saying you have no chance, all right? I'm saying that there is a chance, but you're gonna have to. You see, the underdog story only works to a threshold. Underestimate the team. I mean, look at the stats. There was pretty low stat lines over on TPO No Penta. I think that they're gonna have to really, like I said, in one of the other games, you're gonna have to really put on your big boy pants. I mean, this is a tough team that you're facing. You're gonna have to develop some unique strategies. And yeah, I think you have the potential. I think you have the potential to at least 2-1, but I think I'm gonna go to my word and say We Hate Renekton gonna take the 2-0. So they have a different mid laner. Okay, hey, that might help. Going into week 3, so maybe it was just a mid diff. Just kidding. But anyways, Knowledge Yield Strength gets the bye, so they only get 2 points. Yeah, so that's my predictions for both these rounds, or matches of rounds. So I'm going to try to see if I can get a very rough stats. Let me take a look real quick, because he messaged me just now saying that, so we do have week 2 stats. Cool. Alright, so this is going to kind of be a rough look. It's not going to be exact. Obviously, I'm going to post the entire document after this segment is over. But I think what we want to look for the most, I think, is how people did in week 2, right? So I guess we can kind of go over person by person here. We don't have stats for... Oh, yeah, because they got the bye. Let's start with... Oh, did they not get it either? I guess not. Weird. Okay. So I guess we don't have the week 2's stats for several of these teams still. Oh, let me see. Okay, so we do have it for Needlessly. We'll start with Needlessly Large Rod. I don't know what happened with the other ones. There are some stats that are kind of missing here. Goat has no... Oh, okay. Yeah, so... Just remember, guys, that the way we acquire these stats is if you use the tourney codes, if you create a custom. I give them in the match tickets, so please use those if you want stats done. So that's okay, but we have stats here. Here we go. It's going to be bright, I know. I can't really change it right now. I'm sorry. But we're going to zoom in a little bit. We'll go 150. There we go. All right. So we have Needlessly Large Rod, second week. Okay, Volps is just editing the document himself. Cool. But yeah, Gallia played Vi the first week. Played Lilia Maokai the second week. I think Maokai is a strong jungler right now. I don't know, did they win? They did win. They did 2-0. Lilia, also good stat lines here. This is actually really good for his KDA. His KDA is going to be blown up inflated as much as possible here, because he only had one death in the Maokai game, and he had 20 kills and assists. That's incredible. That's really good scoreline. I don't remember who they faced, but moving on. Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened to top his kill. His stats are just gone. I don't know. And then we have a deathless Carbon Platinum. Resident mid laner here at Mythic. He's got really good stat lines throughout, acquiring 87,000 damage so far now. I think that's really good. 21k per match. I think that's not like inflated or anything. That's pretty decent. But his KDA is also going to be blasted up the roof. Zed is disgusting, so better watch out for that Zed player. He's really good at it, as you can see. So yeah, that's looking good. Fred, no stats. I don't know what happened here. Also no stats. Not sure what's going on. Volps, help. Let's see about Clarity. Do they have extra stats? No. Oh, we got one game. From Evo Wildray. Playing Vigar, didn't do too well. Lost the game. Oh, some of the other games didn't have turning codes. What? I thought you said that all the games worked, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'll have to go over it with you sometime here and see what happened. Because I know that I had to use, like, the turning codes were all the same. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I don't know why they were the same. I was just given the same turning code over and over again. So maybe I need to check on that, see what the problem is there. Hey, we do have stats from Knowledge, Yield, Strength. JFKSR playing the Mordekaiser once again. Did they win? They did not win. They actually lost. That is why these stats are going to hinder. I believe did they lose the first set? Okay, so they went 1-1. I see. Yeah, because that was where the other thing happened. So yeah. I think that not so good stats, but I think that's important to note that what champions these people are playing might impact the game. Trundle top I haven't really seen too much, so maybe there's something to do with that. No stats here. Galax. Oh gosh, we get to Galax. Playing Seraphine mid. Twisted Fate mid. Lost the games. These were pretty quick games too. I don't even know who these were against. I don't remember exactly. Who did they face? Either way, again, did really pretty well in the first game, but is starting to drop off a little bit. As noted, one of the Azir players that we have, pretty good damage though. I think pretty good total damage spread out over these games, so not too bad. But yeah, these are pretty cool. No solo kills other than the first game where they won. Pretty interesting to see. Oh yeah, we almost forgot. Okay, and then yeah, this is gonna be the case for all of these players. I think they did get 2-0'd in this week, so unfortunate, but maybe they can come back in the next one. Janna Braum, there's the Enchanter. I mean, yeah, it seems like the identity of the player is tanks. So let's see if Renekton has. Oh no, they don't have. Yeah, it's currently a work in progress. So hopefully we'll have something, even if we have to do it manually, because I mean I did some of the graphic stats manually. And we do have TPO Argonauts on their, I think, second loss. Yep, or second win. Sorry. Yeah, so pretty interesting scoreline for the first game on Maokai. I feel like top lane Maokai has definitely had its place. I think that he's not as strong as jungle Maokai. It doesn't really surprise me. Maybe he went weak side this game, which is fair. At least he's got the 5 assists to back him up. Not a lot of damage on the board. But yeah, 13-5 for Olaf, pretty good. I think that Olaf definitely does have a say in top lane himself. We can see that, being a bruiser top lane. We've been seeing Sparkark play tanks. I think it's good to bust out a bruiser once in a while, so pretty good there. Like the look. Obviously, this team has 2-0'd twice in a row, so it's kind of been like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, this team has lost. Yeah, pretty shit stat lines, whatever. But this team won, so hey, good stat lines. But I think it's more of just keeping track of what champions these people are playing, what they are good at, what they're extremely good at, and what they're bad at. It does take into account as well. Hopefully, we start to see some changes, start to see some losses, and how that affects their champion playstyles over the weeks. But yeah, Sejuani, both games, I definitely think Sejuani should have been banned out from him in the second game. Seeing as how he went 2-0-10, I think that's an incredible score. It's perfect KDA. It's always obviously it's good to look at, hey, this person went deathless, we should ban him out. But I think that if you put a good character on a person who's already comfortable with the champion, I think that it could lead to some problems, right? Some of the other games that we've seen, people have done the same champion twice in a row and have either won or they have either lost. So let that kind of say to how, like, maybe you should adapt the drafting a little bit better. I'm going to announce that soon, Jim. I got to look at what everybody put. So I'm going to announce that right after this. I just wanted to go over these stats real quick as we're flying through them. Bovine. Alright, he played Yasuo twice in a row. Decided, hey, I'm going to go back to standard mages. I think this is a funny stat. Even going deathless on Victor. Victor, best champion. Best boy. I think that the more I see Victor shine in solo queue and in team play, I think that's like where he's at a good spot. He's not too good in team play, in my opinion. Especially you don't really see him in pro play either, is because he has a sort of like he needs to have certain conditions, certain setups, so he's not falling behind in his stacks. And people can pretty much, once you lock in Victor, you're saying, hey, like, if you pick aggressive champions, you kind of have to force yourself to play safe, which Victor has a really good bullying lane, so keep that in mind. Having a lot of damage early on. I've definitely been playing Victor for the longest of times, so good to see that Bovine is kind of if you locked in Victor, obliged to camp. Yeah, that's basically what you have to do. So just keep a track of Bovine's. Victor went deathless, 8-0. Obviously this team has been doing wonders. Interestingly enough, I mean, I don't know if this was kind of, memey, but he actually died a lot more in the first week than he did in the second week. So I guess kind of he relies on those standard mage types to get through and doesn't die as much on them. So maybe throwing a ban to one of these might be good for those teams that are facing him. Pretty good damage lines too. Not actually crazy damage. For at least for Victor, I think Victor can definitely output more than this in a total game, but obviously that depends on circumstances, all of that. But regardless, pretty average, pretty good stuff. Let's move on to ADC. Galaxy Fox played Kai'Sa 4 times in a row and has teens in kills. Please ban this champion from Galaxy Fox if you don't want to see this. I know that Kai'Sa has kind of been shoved under the rug in recent meta times, but if you have someone like Galaxy Fox who can output a lot of damage, I think it's a worth a ban. I mean, going 18-1, like, holy moly. Obviously there are ways around Kai'Sa. She has short range. She's not a meta champion right now. Misfortune, Caitlyn comes to mind, kind of to abuse her very short range during the early stages of the game. Might be the way to go here if you're not willing to ban her out. So pretty good stats. Keep up the good work. And speaking of the person who's helping that, we got the Blitzcrank person. I mean, we actually saw this on stream, if I remember correctly. So, it's kind of I think there's ways around Blitzcrank, but these stat lines are telling me otherwise. that you might just have to at least ban something on the bot lane. I don't know what happened here exactly, but he's got good vision. You know, a lot of like wards destroyed, pretty good stats. I don't know what happened here. Maybe it was just such a short game, didn't need to. Yeah, this is good stuff from the TPO Argonauts bot lane. Let's move on to last but not least for stat wises. Nope, we don't have stats. Oh well. Well, next time on Mythic Rewind, we'll go over all of the stats. Maybe we'll do it manually. Who knows? I'll try to see what I can do to get those other stats, even if I have to pull the bare minimum, which I think is just the things that are off of the screenshots, which is like kill, death, assists, gold, CS. So that might, still relevant stat lines. I think that's fair. But yeah, let's move on from this. I'll get this bright light out of your way. We're gonna go back to the schedule. We'll start with round 3 Friday division. Let's see what we got. We got needlessly large rods. Like I said, I think that would be a really good one. Let's see what time they might have put the roster lock at. 9 p.m. Eastern Friday. Hey, that's pretty good. We've already streamed. Have we streamed Pref No Leash? I think we did. Yeah, we did. So yeah, I think this is going to be the game that we're going to stream. Is going to be Needlessly Large Rods versus the Salty Mandrakes. I think this is going to be a fun one. Like I said, it's going to be the top 2 teams in that division. Going toe-to-toe. I think that's always a good match. See which one is the better one, right? So yeah, that's going to be Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. As far as Division 2, which is... Oops, wrong one. There we go. We got TPO Argonauts and Goat, and TPO We Hate Renekton versus TPO No Penta. Let me check the timings on this. Let's see, we got TPO A versus Goats. That's 9 p.m. Eastern as well. Then we got... What's the other one at? 8 Eastern? Or is it 9? I thought it was 9. 9 p.m. Eastern. They're both 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, I think that it's fair to say I think I would rather watch. I think we streamed. Who did we stream last week? Jeez, I'm trying to remember here. Let me look. Because I don't remember. I know we watched TPO Argonauts. Was it TPO Argonauts? Yeah, it was TPO Argonauts versus TPO No Penta. So we've already done that. I don't know. Now that kind of is like, do I want to... I think maybe... Well, we've seen Argonauts before. We haven't seen We Hate Renekton. Actually, you know what? Since I made that prediction and y'all were like, we're gonna prove you wrong, I think we're gonna watch TPO We Hate Renekton versus TPO No Penta go at it. Prove me wrong. I mean, No Penta, you've been on the back foot. Shove a win off of We Hate Renekton. Prove me wrong. I want to see it. So we're gonna stream that one. Which is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. Good. You'll bring your A game. Let's go. All right. So we've got all that out of the way. I did the stats. I think that's pretty much it from me. We are looking at dates for our IBS event. Don't know what we have in store. I think it's going to be within the next few weeks. Don't know what day, but it's in the talks. Because we were saying that we were going to do that in the middle of the league. Because we don't want to really do it afterwards. It'd kind of be like, what's the point doing it in preseason? But also, we are talking about doing something for Halloween. Either going to be a Halloween tournament, like another event that's separate from the IBS. It might even be the IBS, I don't know. Who knows at this point? But or we were thinking of doing like a scary game like Phasmophobia with me, Loki Bear, and Magic in a lobby, or Magus. We might do that. We might even do something like a ARAM kind of, but it has to be Halloween skins only. That could be an idea. So we're in the talks. We don't know what we'll do yet. We'll have some dates hopefully by the end of this week. as soon as I can get in the call with them and talk about it. But yeah, this is gonna be a great week, I think. Sorry about the hiccups for last week. Obviously, me being in the hurricane, I lost power. I had to go to a friend's house on Wednesday, so I could not do Mythic Rewind. But Mythic Rewind is scheduled for every Wednesday after roster lock, starting around 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, and thanks to everybody for coming out to the that impromptu Jackbox yesterday. That was fun. I was definitely drunk. But we'll have more of those. We'll have a community day as well coming up this Saturday after the game, after the TPO game. Magus is going to look forward to that one. If he loses, well, then he's going to be in a bad mood. So, but yeah, this is going to be a fun weekend. So yeah, remember that community night. It is on the event. So on the event feature in Discord. So make sure to click if you're interested on that. Did I miss anything? Let's see. I think that's pretty much it. I don't have much else. Keep doing what you're doing. Mental resets is the name of the game. Hopefully, like I said, I'll get the stats. We'll talk about what we do for Halloween. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So, I have been Wiki Monster. This has been a pleasant Mythic Rewind. Oh, I got an hour? Okay, pretty cool. I was expecting it to take a little bit longer, but not having all the stats, I mean, kind of made up for that. So, anyways, we'll have stats soon, hopefully. But yeah, other than that, that's it. So, everybody have a good night.